Yo, before we get started, appreciate you guys for following us, subscribing to our podcast. Follow us at Big Zo Podcast everywhere, social media platform, Spotify, YouTube. And before we get started, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Big Zo, holla at us.
Hey, yo, welcome to the Big Soul Podcast. I go by the name of Berto.
It's your boy Beast on the beat.
Your boy Samuel.
Kiki in the house.
Today's conversation, we're going to be chopping it up about relationships. Kiki had a great question. So go ahead, Kiki, ask your question.
Okay, so my question is for everybody, why is it so hard to emphasize opposite sexes, regardless of friendship, relationship, or the in-between ship? And y'all
Ask the question one more time because you got cut off.
Okay, so my question is for everybody, why is it so difficult to have a open dialogue communication between opposite sex? Friendship, relationship, in-betweenship, y'all fellas know what I'm talking about, okay? That's my question to y'all. Why is it so difficult to communicate?
Because y'all females always complaining about unnecessary stuff.
Yeah, it's not even that. I think most people don't want to hurt the other person's feeling. Like if I keep it G with you, you might not take it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some dudes that can have like 2 or 3 girls, and they tell their girl I'm finna go sleep with her, but I'm coming home to you. Like there's some dudes that. I mean, I guess that's a bad example.
Let me turn my hat backwards, because I feel strongly about this subject.
That's a bad example. That's a bad example, but it's like some of y'all can't handle the truth, bro. Y'all can't. Well, like y'all want a man to stay home. The man stays home, then y'all complain about him staying home. You understand? Like communication is like I don't know.
Well, let me answer it from like so I'm gonna answer it from like a therapist point of view. And here it is. Communication differs for different people. So between me and you, Berto, having a straight up conversation can be perfect because when we were little, we were raised with parents that had straight up conversation with us. So therefore, we view straight up conversation as a way to communicate. Some people were not raised that way. Again, the way you were raised, the relationship you had with your family, the way the communication was with your family when you were little does affect your communication skills and your relationship when you were adults. So if when you were little, your parents were always just giving you hints, but not real conversations, that's how you grew up. You give hints. And since you and your parents always understood each other whenever those hints were given, so you think this is the way to have conversation, this is the way to communicate with people. So of course now when you are older, you are talking to someone, you're giving them hint and they are not getting it. One of you guys are saying, oh, you are not communicating. So let's say I'm giving a hint to someone when my parents told me that's how to communicate and that's how communication was in the house. And I do that, the other person is not answering. I'm like, oh, you're not communicating. But that person was raised where their parents had like straight conversations and I'm giving them a hint. And they are saying, I'm not communicating. So I think the first step within communication is to establish communication's ground rules. What are the communication skills we are going to use in this relationship? And can we both stand by them? So many relationships does not do that. They came in a relationship with different communication skills, different communication standards, different view of communications. Then all of a sudden they blaming one another for communications. And I think last time me and Kiki hang out, we realized that other girls were saying guys do not communicate. She and her friend, both of them girls were not communicating. And of course they were saying, oh, the reason we're not communicating is because you guys don't communicate at first. So there's no reason for us to communicate. Now imagine a relationship where the girl's like, I'm not communicating with you because you're not communicating with me. And the guy is saying the same thing as well. I'm not communicating with you because you're not communicating with me. So I think establishing and finding ways to communicate would work. But as my boy Beast said earlier, sometimes you do not want the truth. I know girls say like they want like a real nigga all the time, but really, do you really want like a real nigga that you say, hey, do I look cute? No, bitch, you look ugly. You don't want that. You said that's what you want. You want someone that's super real with you, but really you don't. You don't want someone like you be like, hey, does that outfit make me look nice? And for him to be like straight with you, no, it doesn't. You want someone that can understand how to communicate with you. But at the same time, if that person lied to you, yes, that outfit make you look sexy. It's a small lie. You accept it. But if he gave you a small lie about something else, you do not accept it. So now, communication specific becomes something in a relationship. Yes, you can lie about those little things, but you cannot lie about those things, although both of them are lies.
Hey,
So
Sam,
that's the thing.
thank you for explaining that, man. Thank you. That's exactly what I was
Please
trying to
don't
say.
get too excited because I'm gonna crush all three of y'all.
You see this? And not just that, comprehension is another thing. Sometimes you can communicate something super well to someone. If they cannot comprehend it the way you explain it, that's something else. So
I didn't say
sometimes
I didn't comprehend it.
you have to communicate with someone in a way for them to understand it. For example, if I go and start speaking like using big vocabulary to someone that only understands small vocabulary, yes, I am communicating, but they're not understanding it. Same thing too, if you talk to someone with small, but they understand big, they're not gonna understand. There's like all of those little factors within communication that we never address. We just be like, oh, they don't communicate, but don't really go dive deep down into why are they not communicating. And I think that's the question next time you're with someone, they're not communicating, sit down with them. Hey, I realize we are not communicating. What can we do together? What's causing that shit to happen?
Listen,
So,
man, that shit
that's
don't be
why
working on it.
Berta,
That shit
what
don't be
you think?
working.
Who? Me?
brother, yeah.
Uh, I mean, I would say, like, my opinion is, I've been in a relationship where it was hard for me to communicate with the female, just because like Beast was saying like earlier, like sometimes they can't handle the truth. You know what I'm saying? They want you, and even Sam was saying they want you to be honest, but sometimes when you're honest, they get mad. They say they want a real dude, they want to do to tell them the truth, but they can't handle the truth. And other times also a lot of females out here, they need a reality check. Like a lot of like if we gonna be real, a lot of females out here, they be tripping for unnecessary things. Like Beast was saying earlier, like if your dude is doing something and he's honest with you, it's like, hey, I want to do something, or if you like in the beginning, you talking to a dude, but a dude is like, okay, he don't know where y'all stand at, he don't know if y'all friends or y'all in a relationship, but he's like, hey, I'm talking to another female, I'm just trying to see what it is. A lot of females will be so intact, like still attached to the dude, and they'll start spazzing and stuff. Like females, they say they want a real dude, they want a dude to be honest with them, tell them everything, but sometimes they just want the dude to tell them what they want to hear. They don't want the truth. That's just my opinion.
And I would like to add to what he just said, because again, that goes back to communication.
Dang,
And
there's a females gonna speak today?
no, listen, because sometimes you tell a girl like, hey, we are not in again, let's go back to communication skills. Sometimes you tell a girl, we are not, I've done that so many times where I've told a girl, we are not in a relationship. I am not looking for a relationship. But then I start cooking for her and let her sleep at my place like a regular man. No, listen, like a regular man, like someone with manners. Or Haitian, we love to cook. All of a sudden, this girl is telling people we are in relationships. I'm like, what happened to the conversation we had where we discussed that we were not in a relationship? Then she's like, but you're cooking for me though and letting me stay at your place. Therefore, we're in a relationship. Then get mad when she finds me for another girl, accusing me of cheating when it is not cheating, since we did communicate, there was no relationship going between us.
Absolutely. That's like a great point. That's a great point. Because a lot of females, it's like they want you to be honest, but when you try to be honest with them, they get upset. And like you said, Sam, it goes to the number one rule, communication. Like you said, Sam, in the beginning, we need to identify the first step of communication between us. Like if you were to chick, find out what's the first step of communication. What's your definition of communication? Let's build the ground rule of communication. That way you understand where I stand at, and you can understand, and that way I can understand where you stand at.
Hey,
Okay,
Kiki, how
so
you
are
feel?
you telling me that communication is the number one key in a relationship?
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
on, I got one yes. It's a yes or no question with no explanation. Berto, Beast, talk to me. Yes or no? I'll wait. Still waiting.
I mean, you have to realize consent,
No.
communication. So yes,
Pause.
communication is the number one.
Yeah, I think communication is the number one rule. Yeah.
Okay, that's a 2 yes. Berto, where you at?
Yeah.
No, with no explanation.
I said, yeah.
Okay, Edlene, shake your head, yes or no. We know you on mute. Just yes or no. Shake your head.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, vest on the headphones.
Yeah. Okay. Have the same. Oh, go ahead, Edlin.
I'm sorry, I was so loud.
No, you good.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna speak for Edlin because we already had this conversation before we even got on the Zoom call. Okay. So from a female perspective, if y'all fellas have already told me yes to communication is key and that's number one, forget all the other jazz that you need, this, that, and the third. Why y'all struggle so bad? Pause. It's a rhetorical question. We may be difficult. We're different. I get that. Y'all need to understand how to communicate, like Berto said. I get it. I got it. And you need to work on where you want to meet and how this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, you don't know anything about a person until you start asking questions or until you guys meet in the middle and then you have a conversation that's geared towards it. And it's like, oh, okay, for some example, oh, well, what kind of light is that? Oh, you're not gonna know that until you ask a question, right? Okay, same thing whenever you go and you're salsa dancing, for example, Samuel. You're not gonna know that person's name, and I'm going real basic at this point, so you get where I'm going. You're not gonna know that person's name. All you're gonna say is, oh, well, she's a female, and you're gonna name all of her outer appearance or his or her outer appearance until you physically go and have a full-fledged conversation. Then it's like, oh, well, yeah, they're cool. Her name is Sarah, and she does this and she does that. You don't know until you communicate. So if we can all agree, and I'm agreeing with y'all, that if you don't have communication, what you doing? You basically are talking to a non-existent vegetable person that can't talk back to you. What's the point? I'm confused. It's stupid, right? So also the nonverbal cues. Okay, you sit like this. Okay, you might be a little upset. Okay, yeah, you can read that, but at the end of the day, you don't know if that person upset until you ask them. You may just be a natural resting B phase, natural resting B arm holder. You don't know that until you ask. So from us females, Edlin can attest to this as well, we struggle with y'all in the communication realm because it's like, just ask the question. Just like y'all like truth and honesty, we sometimes don't want to hear it either. And sometimes y'all want to hear, oh yeah, well, yeah, you're doing a good job. Like, continue. No, sorry, excuse my language. Get your butt off the couch.
Let me cut you off. Most dudes. Hold on, Berto. I feel like what you just saying was like in a relationship status. Before you even get in a relationship, you guys should be should be friends. Which means if y'all friends, y'all should be able to communicate. I see relationships where they're great friends. You know what I'm saying? Like the man might even be doing his own thing. Like I seen a dude fuck hoes and then come back and try to tell the girl, and like, you know what I'm saying? Down the line they start dating, and now it's like her mind says like, okay, he's telling you, you know what I'm saying, we're friends, but you want more, you know what I'm saying? Like I've done seen that before. So it's like,
can you be open?
But I'm saying the communication been happening, and as friends, they're acting different. You know what I'm saying? Once they got in a relationship or once they said that they're gonna be, you know what I'm saying, something else, it's like if they take a break or whatever, the first thing she's gonna think is that the man's cheating. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, but I agree. But now, hold on, pause. That's a whole nother subject for another Zoom call because we ain't got enough time to talk about that. You have gullible people and you have people that know what's up. I'm sorry, but your scenario, you already knew what you walked into. You have transferred over into gullible. You already knew. I'm sorry. So whenever you officially move, like I said, that's why I put my hands up and I was explaining friendship, relationship, the in-between ship. Once you get to this area right here, I'm sorry, you either common sense, you going left, or you common sense and you going right. And whatever that person has told you in this friendship realm and them trying to grab you, this, that, and the third, that's up to you what you do. That's on you. At the end of the day, oh, that's what you decide to do, but you already done told me all these other stories that he done did or she done did. I'm sorry, I can't help you because I'm gonna look at
But
you.
I think though,
I what you did, and you said it.
but hold on, let me ask you this: who you think have a harder time communicating? Is it males or females?
Repeat your question because you cut out just
I think
me.
it's both.
Who you think have a hard time communicating, like especially in a relationship, friendship, or what in between ship? Who you think is the males or the females?
Okay, so I can't label anybody. I can only speak from my past. And overall, I think it boils down to the personality. If you have an introvert, they're going to struggle a bit more. If you have a person like me who's a wild, extreme extrovert, I would have no problem telling you how I feel. And when I get done, I said what I said, and that's going to be that. And I'm expecting you to come back and say, oh, well, I said what I said, and that's going to be that. And it's not a harsh conversation or we're arguing or anything. It's just the fact of, okay, I truly know how you feel. And sometimes I feel like you guys have this, I won't call it a double standard, but if you go and I don't know, for example, we were talking about if the guy has a bunch of girls that he has on his list, whatever. I feel like sometimes y'all hold that back because it's like, well, she's going to deem me as XYZ and put me in this area versus that was the old me or whatever, or that may be currently you right now, but I'm not going to mention that. So it's like, well, let me pause and let me think about it. So you guys do more thinking than just letting it out sometimes. As much as you say, oh yeah, well, I was real honest and everything, sometimes y'all hold back a little bit because of the image and the pride that y'all have of keeping your image at 100%. Now, females, on the other hand, we struggle on telling y'all exactly how we emotionally feel, which is completely a whole different area. And it's like, oh, well, what you just said, that didn't sit too well with me. And it may be something simple. You said you didn't like my nail color, a little simple stuff like that. And I'm not saying that it's always that simple or that they're deemed that simple, but sometimes it's like, that kind of irritated me, but I'm not going to tell you that. So on the female side, it just one thing, and then it bottles and it bottles and it bottles and bottles. And eventually like, you know what? I'm pissed off. And y'all like, I don't get it. But it's all emotionally based. Whenever that could have been resolved by her just communicating, hey, you kind of had an issue. And then the same thing with the pride. Yeah, kind of did what I did, and I learned from my lesson, or I'm not gonna keep doing it, one or the other. But it's still that image thing. And same thing with the females. It's also an image issue. And it's like, well, I don't want to be deemed as the cuckoo bird or the girl that always has the problem, or I'm jealous, this, that, and the third. And it's like, I'm not a jealous person, and she may not be that way. But at the end of the day, based off of the things that she may want to bring to your attention as emotional, may come across to you guys, emphasize image, that's the way that she's leaning. Oh man, this chick got issues. Like, I ain't got time for that. And it's really not an issue. It's just having open dialogue. And I think that's where sometimes it's missed.
I think most guys, a lot of guys, they struggle to communicate. I think it's up to the female to, like, when they first talk to the guy, they say, hey, I like, when a guy's like asking you, hey, what do you like? Just be like, hey, I like a guy that communicates. And a lot of things too, a lot of guys got a lot of stuff going on, and they're not, usually when a female try to communicate, they throw 1,000 things at the man once. Let's start with something small. Let's start with one thing. Then hopefully the guy will start, communicating more with you, focusing on that one topic instead of having like 3, 4, 5 different things going at the same time, three or four or five things talking to the guy with. Because a lot of guys, they got their own thing going on, and they're like, damn, I don't want to deal with this chick because she got so much thing going on. So, and a lot of times when y'all start talking to a guy, you start telling them a whole bunch of things, and it kind of scares them a little bit. They were like, damn, should I really be interested on this chick? Or do I just want to smash them and leave them? Like, let's be real.
Roberto, you shouldn't laugh at that. Okay.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what?
But
Thank you.
I also think, again, let me bring it back because I think it's more than that. So I think culture also plays a role in that. In my culture, my dad never talked. I remember actually we used to get beat, like me and my brother compared to my sister. If we did something and my dad whipped us and we cried, we would get beat again for crying. So we were taught not to show emotion. We were taught like, yes, my sister can go to my mom and cry and tell her about her feeling, but no, not me. I wasn't raised to like share feelings. I wasn't
Mhm.
raised that way, and a lot of guys were raised that way, and they were modeled by their dad, their grandfather that way. Their dad never cried. Their dad never shared feelings. Their dad woke up every day, go to work, come back home, eat, go to sleep. That's what
Mhm.
he did. So as a guy, if that's how you were raised, now all of a sudden you're 22, dating a girl that's telling you to communicate with her. The fuck do I have to? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to communicate the way you want me to because I was not raised that way. Like some girls be getting mad if a guy do not cry. Yo, when I was little, I was getting beaten for crying, so I don't cry. So there's all of those things because
Mhm.
it's, I think culture, how you were raised, so many things affect why some guys do not communicate as much compared to girls.
And I
So
ain't gonna lie, Sam. Like you brought up a great thing. Now that I think about it, you brought up two things. You brought up the age, and you brought out like the background. You're from the island. I'm from the island. But at the end of the thing, if we're being honest, like most black guys overall, it don't matter what culture you're from, just black men overall, we're taught to be tough. We're taught to like not show emotion. The number of things like when we start showing emotion at a young age, what are like our older like adults will tell us, like or our fathers or uncles or big brother, they will say the one word, man up. I'm gonna say two words, man up, man up. So we're taught not to do that. Then even when you in a relationship with a chick, even when you're in a relationship with a chick, when you like in your middle school or high school, even throughout college, like you're not taught to like to show emotion. You thought to just be the same person. I think it changed like when you probably done with school or you're an adult, like adult stage when you ready to settle down, you ready like to meet the right woman of your dreams. I think that's the age that around like 20 like 26 and above that the females want the fellas to show more emotion, show
But
more
how do you turn that on and turn it off?
huh?
How do you turn emotions on and turn it off?
But that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's
Like
because that's you.
most guys don't know how to do it though. Like most guys, they don't know how to turn it on and turn it off. That's why I said it's up to the females to manage the situation as far as let the guy know I like a guy that I like guys that know how to communicate. I like or when you communicate with a guy, just tell him one thing at a time. Don't go through a whole bunch of things at him. Just tell him one thing what you're going through and let them and focus on that. Because you never know what the other guy, you'll never know what the guy has going on. Also, the guy might be going. Most guys, when they go through, I mean, especially the guys I know, most black dudes, when they go through something, they don't
They
go
tell
out
no
and
one.
tell females. They keep it to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like you could look at a person and be like, damn, this guy's always happy. But you really don't know if he's always happy. You really don't know what he's going through. I think communication, especially with black men, we deal with communication different than probably any other race. We deal with emotion different than any other race because we were taught that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
so I agree with you on that one, Berto. Sam, I also agree with you as far as the whole age, this, that, and the third.
You don't agree with Beast though.
Female standpoint, and especially with a black guy
Yeah.
versus of whatever race she is, we still understand and see and physically can feel how you guys feel emotionally as a Black man. And it's like, okay, so I have two shoulders. One of them does not belong to me. One of them belongs to you. Because at the end of the day, it's like, well, you guys are, and I'm speaking everything that has happened currently, even today.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, yeah, y'all have a lot to walk around with. Y'all wear a mask 24/7, even as a Black female. And that's something that we talked about with work, is that we wear a mask 24/7. I go to work, I wear a mask. I go home, I wear a mask. I go out to the grocery store, I wear a mask. And it's like, when do you ever get to unmask and just be naturally who you are? And that means that you're having a bad day or whatever. And it's like, no, we don't have bad days. What does that mean? Like, we carry a lot of stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of people that go through a lot of things that happen to be Black males. But at the same time, I think sometimes that you guys need to release some of that to the female and actually say emotionally what's going on the other side of the mask, and say, hey, you know, I kind of didn't have a good day, and whatever the reason may be or whatever. But if you don't physically explain that to us, we could just be like, okay, well, yeah, you had to go through 5 different traffic lights today. You could have been pulled over 5 different times. Like, those are the scenarios that run through our mind. But if you don't physically use your lips and say, hey, this is what's going on, and if she doesn't ask, which
I agree.
you have to have a person that wants to physically, emotionally, all of those items, know who you are. Otherwise, we can make up a bunch of assumptions and be like, okay, well, you had to dodge this cop, and you had to do this, and you had to go to work and pretend like you this, that, and the third. No, like, just sometimes just naturally say what's going on. I guess it's really what we need.
I agree with you, but you gotta be realistic. Most guys, they only gonna talk to a female if they feel like they could trust the female. You know what I'm saying? They gotta feel like, okay, damn, I really could trust her. Like, I'm really comfortable with her. You know,
right? But you can't get to that phase if you are stuck in the friendship and the, oh, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do, this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna have a main squeeze. Okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the age group that you referred to, Roberto, which is 36 on.
Hey, man, don't be saying my government name out here, man. You can read it. Say Berto, man. Time up. God damn. That's on me. Oh, you want my social security number too?
My bad, y'all. Don't post this one. Don't post this.
Hey, nah, but on, like, I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, females, I mean, it's crazy I'm gonna say this, but females gotta start picking the right guys too, though. Yeah, females gotta start picking the right guys too. Let me
keep drinking my vodka and orange juice. Hold on one second.
And I know a lot of niggas ain't gonna agree with me, but a lot of females need to start picking the right guys. And like what Steve Harvey says. Steve Harvey said that there's every man for there's every man for a female or something, or he said something. No, he said every man will change, but it will change for that one female.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that's like running it back. Like, you'll demask yourself once you get home with the right female.
The right female.
Tell her really what's going on, and it's like, oh, okay. For example, some of the ones that they have long-term marriages. Oh yeah. And you're like, why she still with him? What happened? Girl, bye. Or boy, bye. And you're like, no, because you don't know what's going on without the mask. All you see is what you're getting from social media or this, that, and the third. Whenever they have somebody that they can truly, honestly go and release and come back and rejuvenate and then produce themselves in a different light. And it's like, okay, all right, I see this person have changed. It took them a while, and I was a little confused, but that ain't none of my business.
Like I said,
business.
Every female, I mean, every man's gonna change for that one female. If the man's not willing to change for you, guess what?
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Exactly.
But
Move on to the next one.
And one thing I do want to bring up to, like, before we end, is I know I've mentioned before how your childhood affect your adulthood relationship. I know I've mentioned before how's your culture, how you were raised affect that. But so many times I know both guys and girls use that as excuses not to change. I think regardless, although I mentioned those type of communications about your childhood, I know I've mentioned as like Haitians, we were taught a certain way. I also think as well, it's up to us to change ourselves to become the person we want to be. So if yes, I was raised a certain way, but I realize dating people now, like my ways are like affecting my relationships, it's up to me to change that. I shouldn't be keep telling people, oh no, this is how I raise, this is how I raise, this is my culture, even though I know it's negatively affecting relationships. And I'm saying that because I know so many times we use our past and we use like so many excuses to act a certain way, although we know we can change it. And I think that goes both to like guys and girls when it comes to communicating.
Facts.
I also think society's going to change it because, like 10 years ago, for a man to talk about mental health, it was like, you know what I mean, impossible for you to even find somebody. But now you see more people talk about, or especially men, black men, talk about mental health, and as a result, I think more people are going to start talking and learning how to communicate, and hopefully it trickles down to the relationships that we have.
I agree.
At least you sound so professional and clean up. Boy, you don't want to work in corporate America.
No, man, you know what I'm saying?
Like in corporate America, we'll be honest.
But wrap this up, Berto.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, anyway, we was chopping it up. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining us, Kiki, Sam, Beast, whatever left with Eileen. Anyway, man, Big Zo Podcast. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. How important is communication is in a relationship. Just leave a comment below. Follow us on Spotify and YouTube, Apple Music, Podcast One, Big Zo Podcast everywhere. Holla at your boys. We out.
All right.
All right, thank you guys. So we wrapping it up for
You
today?
don't have to post that one since I mentioned your real name. You know I don't call you nothing other than Roberto.
No, it's all good. I don't
No,
care.
he can blip it. Like right when the pod come, he can be like,
Oh, that's good.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't really care.
okay.
All right, man.
Okay,
We gotta do
guys.
this again.
Yo, yeah, I'm always down, man. I'm always down.
Yeah. What's gonna be the next subject?